Good afternoon. And I don't know how to describe it. This morning, around 11 a.m., I had a profoundly religious experience. After which I fell asleep in a deep slumber, like as if I felt like I was being held in the bosom of God. I just I can't describe the experience. I think it was I think part of what caused this incredible for a native Texan, just a deeply, just profoundly religious experience was perhaps the anointing of the Angus with coconut oil instead of toasted sesame seed oil or the butter or MSG or any other thing, soy sauce, garlic. No, it was unbelievable. I was going real slow, and it was like biblical. We Jews are commanded to burn the fat upon the altar. We created barbecue, got it, and it was moisture, not burning. I wasn't hitting smoke point. That's I think what produced it was the unique way I did this particular piece of black Angus, and it was actually closer to about 18 ounces. It was and 16. It looked like it was smoking, but it was actually that low temperature, that moisture coming out of the fat and the meat, a little bit of water, and mixing with the very dry air this morning. I was actually still in the fart sack, had everything here, was literally cooking in bed and ate in bed. The most delicious. It wasn't. It. I hoped would be a little. Of course, I really go for a piece of meat that's kind of buttery soft. A few chews, and it's a couple of chews. It's down. It's what I normally go for, but in this case, it was a little more chewy, but like every time I chewed into that incredible beef and Dan Wolf, it did come out. I prefer them bloody rare. That's usually what, to me, they're the most tender. It was medium rare, but it was a real good. I mean, it was big, thick pink and stuff. Not the bloody red I was going for, but every time I chewed, it was like this explosion of beefiness, of just flavor. It's the most flavorful piece of beef I've had, and can't remember. It was a really uh, spiritually moving event. I mean, it touched me to my very soul. I can't describe the religious ecstasy that I experienced this morning. I think they watched it. It was just every bite was just it. I think it was the coconut. The coconut oil was like this beautiful little side note, like drizzling some toasted sesame seed oil on it, or something. But I think the secret to like trapping in that, I think it's due to the kind of the viscosity of that virgin. This was brought to us by the holy virgin coconut oil. I'm not trying to mock religion here. I mean, it's in the Bible. We Jews are beef eaters. We're supposed to burn the beef of the cow upon the altar. If you've never read the Bible, that's God gets the blood and the fat. We eat the lean, and then what I ate was fairly. But I can't describe it. It was, usually if you get a tough piece of meat, you get a little hint of beef flavor. So it wasn't really tough. It was just a little more chewy than usual. I mean, usually a couple, and just but with every chew though, it was like beef bubble gum. It was, where the flavor never ran out, and like bubble gum. I don't know how to describe it. It was ecstasy. I was overwhelmed, and even actually after finishing it, Actually put the dish on and locked the lid. Sat down. I had a single cigarette at which I could just barely overcome this. It was like a post-coital high. All that anandamide and all the other neurochemicals. Just it was. I had been kissed by God. It was unbelievable. The beefiness was just undescribable. It just, mm. And then I thought but within a matter of minutes and stuff, in the warmth, because I had been planning to get out of, to keep any grease from getting on my sleeping bag. But no, I didn't get any splatters. I did it very slowly and perfectly, and it was. Maybe I'll post the pictures on the community posts, but I'd like for it to be a little bit more. But to tell you the truth, that chewing actually really gave me a kind of a good workout for my satisfied that desire to chew. Whereas normally I usually cook beef that's almost like that sandwich the other day. I could just kind of wolf it down. I'm not trying to be comedic here, although I hope I am. But it was truly a religious event. I haven't had a piece of beef that was that beefy, and I really think it's the coconut oil, kind of, especially the way I did it, where I started off so cool because I didn't want to burn anything at first, and the stove head is real small, and I kept moving it around so it tilted, so the oil I put in just apparently the right amount of oil, which would be about 2 tablespoons. It's way better than butter or any other oil I've ever tried. I think I really, at the beginning, that I had the temperature low enough that the meat was actually absorbing the coconut oil, which is not deodorized. It hasn't been purified. And the coconut flavor didn't in any way overwhelm the beef. It was, like I said, like a side note, an accent note, like the Orientals drizzle toasted sesame on it. I've had beef with toasted. This was way better because it's just a whole new flavor, and uh, it's just indescribably good. It was big. I thought it was only about a pound, but it was 18 or more ounces. I actually got a pretty good buy on that. It was apparently, I think it was actually may have been 20 ounces. Around $10 a pound for it. I thought the other one next to it was marked as around $14 a pound, but anyway, this the single ones was. I'm not trying to be comedic here, but it was just awesome. And then, because it was a little chilly this morning, I didn't want to get out of the fart sack. It was really, at my age, it was better than sex. It was better than, it really truly was. It was more satisfying, more. Maybe you have to be a Texan, I don't know, or a Jew or something like that. We're beef eaters. We're both. And it's just indescribable. I just kept, because it's normally I like do a couple of chews and it's down. The fibers are, short enough. That's why you use that kind of cut of meat, is that the muscle fibers are very short, and you're cutting right at a 90 degree. You're cutting perpendicular to the fibers, so they're usually easy to chew and swallow. But it was like, no, it was like telling me, no, just keep on chewing it, because like every chew is like just a burst of beefiness. It was, I fell asleep for 5 hours right at 4:20. some group of young people were yelling at me and something about $5 or something. And after I just went like, $5 what? $5 foot long? Yeah, yeah. Subway sandwich compared to what I ate this morning. Fuck yeah. I mean, excuse me. I'm gonna not. I'm gonna only PG-13 this one. I think all of Pflugerville should know that today I had the best tasting. It may have not been the perfect, that just kind of give it one chew and swallow it kind of rare. But as far as beefy flavor, and I think the secret is the virgin coconut oil. I'm not even going to try the purified coconut oil, which is supposed to be tasteless. Yeah, it is tasteless based on that meal from Denny's that guy brought me that day. It doesn't add anything. No, I want that virgin quality. There was something in the unrefined coconut oil, I think, that really enhanced and trapped that beef flavor in there instead of cooking it out. To people observe me, they thought maybe I was burning it, but no, that was actually water vapor coming out of the meat, and in that dry morning air was turning into fog. It looked like I was burning the hell out of something, just almost like on the altar, you know, first stone altar, the first stone temple. Pilots, thought I'd throw that in there, but I just can't describe the incredible joy I had after eating tinned beef, which is good, and all this stuff, and even the last couple of steaks, I wasn't. The other part I think to perfecting this is it really takes a different size burner, or maybe even some charcoals, and like a cast iron pan, something that has density, so I can do. But then again, I'm not sure, because at first, really, the lower temperature that I started with, I think, allowed the coconut flavor to really get into the meat. Uh, I am warm to the very cockles of my heart. My soul is filled with joy for having tasted and chewed on about 20 ounces of the most beefy beef. I've salivate now just thinking about it. Oh man, I would take that over Keira Knightley and Angelina Jolie and whoever else I could think of in the. Actually, I don't find Angelina Jolie really attractive with all that collagen lips or whatever. I'm trying to think of some other attractive actress that I'd take that steak over three or four of the hottest looking actresses in Hollywood. It's anytime. Oh yeah, is that good? I mean, it's a matter of a mature perspective, is it, over the immature perspective of, you know. I don't want to be too graphic here because I'm going to leave this PG-13 so people can hear the gospel, the good news that old man Kent under the tree in Pflugerville finally had himself a piece of real beefy beef. Real, none of that, all the fat bred out of it, stuff for you hypochondriacs who actually bought that stuff that, red meat's bad for you. Oh, shit. It made my entire day. Yesterday, all I had eaten all I'd consumed was plenty of sweet organic green tea and a quart of kefir. I didn't have much appetite due to the early morning pain of glaucoma, the appetite suppression of glaucoma, and the pain of moving around until I got pain relief. And then the pain pills, as weak as they are, were still suppressing so I really wanted to be hungry for it. I just can't. I shouldn't go on from here. I've spent 15 minutes describing and I don't know if I want to get the 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 beef any. I don't want to say tougher. It wasn't tough. I don't want to. I don't know if I want to make it any chewier in my process because, like I said, with every chew was like a just a burst of beef. It was like it was indescribably good. If I think the people watching could tell by the expressions on my face that I was in a state of religious ecstasy. And vitamin B, baby, it's vitamin B ain't beer, it's beef. Anyway, I think I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm up. It's now probably it's past 5. And yeah, look at they're already backed up, 2,500 feet trying to get that light. See them here, they're all trying to, it's rush hour. It was slow to warm up this morning. I stayed perfectly warm inside that fart sack all day, slept, setting up. I'd slept setting up last night for right at 4 hours. I can tell my last communication, my last text to Bruno was at 12:33 a.m. I know by 12:40 I was asleep and woke up at 4:20. This has been a 4:20. I woke up again at 4:20. This has been a kind of 4:20 day. If I'd had a little bit of the herb that's described in the plant tree that's described in Revelations 22, it would have been just icing on the cake. But I got to tell you, I'm really sold on coconut oil. Now, that's what I'm going to be cooking beef in from now on. It's virgin, unrefined coconut oil. Still got 2 pounds of it right now, 32 ounces of it. And they're about to be out of stock. As soon as they restock, I'm going to grab another one or two. Anyway, I thought I'd just share my religious ecstasy and joy with you and give you a little something to think about. Maybe you ought to try that long time, low temperature. But please, actually, the piece of meat that I had was right at about 3.5 centimeters. I think that's the minimum thickness you're looking for to produce a good, thick, pink, medium rare. It's what they call medium rare. Slab inside with just slowly browned on the outside. There's only really one part in the middle of where it was caramelized and would have contained just a tiny amount of acrylamide. The only possible it was gorgeous. It was like being 10 years old and watching Raquel Welch in the movie Fathom. That means she was 6 foot tall. But that's just a 2-dimensional thing. This was every dimension, including taste and smell. And my sinuses are perfectly open. The automobile exhaust today, I felt like I was in the bosom of God. Even those like 4 people, young people in a car, came over to leave $5 at my foot there or whatever. They were absolutely just irrelevant to my existence today. The thing that I had wanted for so long and had tried so many times, like last year when I was in the Burke supervised living kind of, it wasn't. He didn't really encourage sober living. He really wasn't had any control over them heathens in there or the bed bugs. And I ate many a HEB marbled ribeye in there. Some were close to perfect, but as far as flavor, today was divine. That's the only way to describe it. That flavor of that piece of beef, the way I cooked it, it was divine. It was religious ecstasy. If you're a true Texan, you know what I'm talking about. I'll let y'all go now. I just wanted to share my joy with you that I finally, and I think actually giving it a full day after getting it out of and plus I do the usual. While I was still in the package, because they usually freeze that stuff. I was sure, and I kneaded it and kind of reshaped it and pushed it, but because when you freeze it stuff, it tightens up the fibers and stuff. I know what I'm doing. And I'm convinced now that coconut oil probably is what trapped in the beefy flavor. The coconut was just like I said, just an accent note on the side. It wasn't overwhelming, overpowering. It was no more than like a drizzle of toasted sesame. I wonder how that would go. Actually, I'm wondering if I could mix some, drizzle a little bit of now. That's turning my brain on. Use the coconut oil and then drizzle on a little toasted sesame seed oil. It's got to be toasted before going into the pan. It's got to be separate. It's got to be extracted. I bet you a little small deal of toasted sesame oil is probably going for $6 or $7 now. Anyway, I just wanted to share my joy with the lovely people, good people of Pflugerville who didn't mind an old hobo discreetly cooking right, because I had everything set up from the night before. I was planning to do it last night, but I was able to do it this morning. Did it pretty discreetly, except for all that vapor coming off as fog. It looked like smoke coming out of that pan. It wasn't smoking. That oil was not burning. It was not in danger of ignition. It was just creating fog. It was biblical. It was like right out of yeah, that would be Genesis, as I guess, or could it be in Deuteronomy, Leviticus, anywhere. It's in the Pentateuch. Anyway, I'll let y'all go. As you can tell, my mood is as good as when I woke up, and it was definitely enhanced by nobody in this town today. Nobody in this entire county had a better tasting piece of beef. The unspiced. You counting on spices. You're counting the spices. This was unspiced except by coconut oil. Virgin, unrefined coconut oil. Nobody in this county or anywhere in this region had a better, more beefy, richly. I can't, I'm not exaggerating to make you envious or anything. I'm just telling you what happened. This is an accurate recollection of this morning's events, and the 5 hours of sleep that followed just refreshed my soul. I'll probably have trouble sleeping again tonight, because right now the temperature is tolerable. I don't think it's quite as warm as last night at this same time. It's because it's now sunset. It's sunset. But now I feel alive. I feel like trying to find a decent video and movie. I think I may have one in the works there, but I don't know if I've watched it long enough to decide whether I'm going to. And yeah, the big avocado. I still got that. That's going to be kind of dessert after that may be all I eat today is the steak and that big, and I don't know the name of I'm definitely going to eat that. It should be, especially after, but, so what I was hoping for turned out. I just couldn't believe it. The flavor was, eat your hearts out, guys. Most of y'all are subjected to some of the toughest, unmarbled, tasteless beef because of all those hypochondriac, all that. They bred the cattle to not accumulate fat between the muscle fiber bundles. The marbling went away. I'd never seen all those decades of that lean red meat that was so tough, just almost impossible to produce any kind of tender flavor and flavorful. All the flavor was gone, and this was a nice fatty piece of beef that was cooked in virgin cooked coconut oil. I'm sticking to it. The next one I do, I'm going to do it pretty damn close to that, although I wish I'd had, get something with a little better heat distribution to cut down on cooking time, because I took my time cooking that, but even hold the pan to get the fat on all around it, to move the heat around and try to cook it, distribute the cooking evenly. Otherwise, that almost all that heat comes up in just a little space because it's a backpacker stove. Anyway, I'll let you go here. Um, I'm not trying to make you jealous of me, but you should be envious. And don't forget though, that's one of the seven deadly sins. But it was awesome. It was not no exaggeration whatsoever here. That was I just couldn't believe how the beefiness didn't stop. It's because you know how you get a piece of that funky beef that ain't that you chew it once or twice and all the flavor's gone. It's like you're chewing on cardboard. You know what I'm talking about. That's what modern healthy beef is supposed to be like. Not this. Every chew, everybody was oh, it was, how the leprechaun said, indescribably delicious or whatever. It's just, you can get by my enthusiasm that it was, and then that during the warmth of the day, and it's really everybody left me alone until the fucking four weirdos leaving me a $5 bill when they're out, pissing away, $50 in gasoline, driving around in circles probably. And it's left it on the ground, and if you think I was gonna, that's okay. It was time for me to wake up because I needed to wake up and get out of the bag and get things kind of sorted out. There's 2 bags of trash that got to go to the trash can right now. I'll see you guys later. It's time to take out the trash. And so far, I've had a wonderful day, and the best piece of beef I've eaten, and I really can't. I don't think I've had one in I don't know how long. That it was that beefy, and the flavor just such a rich flavor with no additives, no spices, no nothing other than virgin coconut oil. I'll see you guys later. I just wanted to share my joy with you.